All right, good morning, guys. Yeah, trying to shake up it a little bit because it's not all gloomy news I have for you guys coming ahead as we head into the next couple of days. Hope you are doing well. I'm wave meteorologist Brian Good. Welcome to the weather block here on this Wednesday, counting down to the 34th. Thunder over Louisville coming our way fast. And of course, we've got that system we're watching. I do have some changes to talk about there, and they're actually some positive changes. All right, it's not going to be sunny and 85, but there are some positive changes. I'm going to go over that. But before we get to that system, we do have a couple of other weather elements that we need to make sure you guys are aware of as we head to the next even 24 to 36 hours ahead of us there. As always, you guys can say hello, and some of you are, on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube as well. If you want to chat, if you're watching on streaming, Roku, Fire Stick, of course, you are not able to comment, but if you watch the video later, you will be able to see some of the comments fly on by. So let's get right to it. We'll start with as normally would anyway, the severe outlook that's out. And there's not one. And that's important to note, even as we get into Thursday night and Friday when the front does move in. The severe threat is not a big concern here because the front loses a lot of its gas. It's going to slow down. So it loses the forcing. So there's just not a lot to work with there on the severe side. That's a good thing. We'll take that. There will be some thunder involved in this at times, though, so I'm not going to completely take that off the table, but that's not clear. The only thing we need to worry about that on that is the idea that with it stalling out, you're going to end up with some decent rain totals. Some areas between Louisville and Evansville likely will fall into that 1 to 2, 1 to 3 inch range on rainfall on Friday. So that's still there, the soaking rainfall before we get to the low pressure that'll be moving by on Saturday morning. Important to note that. But that's not the only thing going on. In fact, we also have, we don't see this very often, a fire weather watch that is out for tomorrow. Today, technically, we'll get close, but tomorrow we'll likely match it a bit more on the lower humidity. And it's the combination of low humidity. I mean, you obviously got to have a dry setup. You've been dry for a while. A lot of us have been dry for a while. So you've got a lot of the wood that is out there that has been laying around, chopped wood, whatever the case may be, fallen trees, have had a chance to dry out. Low humidity tomorrow will dry them out even more. And then you add in gusty winds, there's a problem because then you have the fuels, which would be the trees and the brush and the grasses that are then prime, that if they were to ignite, even by a cigarette butt, wherever the case may be, the wind would then work in favor of that brush fire and move it along rapidly. So that's the reason why we have a fire weather watch. This is what will likely become a red flag warning once we get a little closer. So watch is just giving you a heads up. The warning means it's going to be that day. So a red flag warning will likely be issued. We've seen these before. Just seems a little odd because it seems like we've had so many systems and severe weather lately. But in reality, we have had a nice little dry gap here. So that's the reason why there have been some drying out periods. And that's the reason why that is out. So in case you're wondering what that is, that's what it's about. As always, don't doing the outdoor burning right now. You can see humidity levels tomorrow really drop. Once you get below 30%, it becomes starting to get your attention. Below 25 really does. And in some spots getting closer to 20%, that's when you get into what you have in the weather out west into the Rockies, right? So just be careful, extra careful. And again, if you are a smoker, don't throw it out the window. You shouldn't do that, period, but certainly on a setup like this. Okay, today we've got, a couple of things. Notice how still the Ohio is, almost like glass. Very calm setup right now. Hazy looking sky, high-level cirrus clouds. Get used to that. We're going to see the high-level cirrus clouds. That's going to be locked in for the next several days, by the way. And I'm not exactly sure what that is at the top of the camera. If you have an idea, let me know. Just type it in chat. I thought it would have been the tail of a bird, but it really has not moved at all, just barely. So I'm thinking it's something that's stuck either in a web that Charlotte made, or it's perhaps something like a wasp or something is just sitting there, although usually they don't sit there that still. But it's been there for about an hour at the moment. So who knows? That camera gets all kinds of weird things. It's up pretty high. But I'll keep you updated. In case you're wondering, if I see anything crawl across the lens, more than likely it's probably Charlotte playing games with me. She always does that. You can see the satellite and the radar. Again, nothing to track on the radar side, but we do have the high-level cirrus clouds streaming on in. Very quiet, beautiful, very warm, and summer-like for the next couple of days. As the sun comes up, that's when we're able to see the images that are the clouds that are beginning to show up. These systems up here in the upper Midwest are not going to bother us. They're going to stay up there in the upper Midwest. So we've got some time to enjoy the nice warm weather that is going to be moving in. Unusually warm, too. 85 today. The record is 86. Set back in 2016. Tomorrow's record, we may match it, set back in 1976. It is possibly going to fall. It has a much better chance to fall tomorrow. Good combination of low humidity, the gusty wind, sunshine. Yep. Usually temperatures overachieve around here in that scenario. That's a classic one for that. So I think that 87 is indeed reachable. So quite summer-like. Futurecast on the one right in-house model shows the same idea of dry weather, just some high-level cirrus streaming on by. Then we get into Thursday night. Here's where the severe weather breaks out across Missouri and Missouri back into the Ozarks. That begins to roll in from the west. Now watch what happens. As it gets closer to us, it begins to fade out. Everything slows down quite a bit as the front gets closer to Indiana. I've already been hearing from some of you wanting to play golf on Friday, and you're like, hey, I got an early morning tee time. Will we get wet? Well, it depends really on the speed of the front, because some modeling does not get the rain all the way to Louisville anyway until about noon on Friday. Others bring it in relatively fast in the morning hours, so it just depends on where you're playing the golf game at. Certainly, if you're teeing off more south and east of Louisville, you have a better chance to get it in, at least the start of it. But Indiana, you will likely get the rain first. This is going to be periods of rain. I don't think it's going to rain all day on Friday. I think it's going to be waves that will break out, maybe a little bit of thunder. You'll get a bit of a break, and then you'll get more as we head into the evening time period, certainly Friday night. Now, this portion of the model, this is where the model ends. This is the end of its storyline. But what you don't see is this is the actual low pressure now that is moving across the state Friday night. So what I'm going to do, since this model is done, can't see any more beyond that point, I'm going to switch over now to the Euro, give you its idea, and it tells the story fairly well. Again, the stalled front idea, waves of rainfall along that front. Again, off and on nature. Some of the heaviest will be more into Friday night, where we could get some decent rainfall out of this. Now, once the low moves by, this is where the forecast is starting to change in a positive way. The rain itself, especially the steady rain, is going to be attached to the low as it moves across the Tennessee and Kentucky area. So the faster we can get it through here, the more we can get that steady shield of rain to go with it. And the game plan is to get it into Ohio by the time we get into Saturday morning. At the moment, you still see the rain shield is over us. I mean, it's raining Saturday morning. The Great Lawn's going to be soggy, if not muddy. It's going to be one of those things you're going to wake up on Saturday and like, oh man, this is not going to be a fun day for Thunder. But here's the thing. This is where, again, starting to change for us, is that once the low moves to the north and east, it will take the rain shield with it to where by the time we get to the air show, we're on the backside of the system. So the idea we're going to get cooler is still there. That's locked in. It's going to be a chilly day, But if you wear jackets or whatever the case would be, I think you'll be fine. All right. But a steady rainfall is appearing much more unlikely. And now the ceiling is bouncing back between 1,500 to almost 3,000 feet, which means there is a chance we may get a full air show in, even though it may be overcast. The ceiling is key. The buildings in downtown Louisville, 549 feet. You need to get that above 1,000 feet on the ceiling there, the cloud bases, so they can at least do the air show. And right now we're seeing improvements where it should raise up enough to get most of the stunts in. This is good. There's even a chance, and I want to get too excited because I'm afraid I'm going to jinx it. But there is a chance for the afternoon. There could be 1 or 2 little peaks of sun as we head into Saturday afternoon. It is possible. Not going to rule it out. I wouldn't bet on it much in the way of sun, but it's dry air will try to eat away at that cloud shield. So it would be one of those things where the crowd will probably just cheer when you see a sun ray, but clouds will rule much today. It will be chilly. The wind isn't going to be overly strong, but it will be chilly for sure. So not a huge wind chill effect. Hold on 1 second. I got a spammer. Let me get rid of them. 1, 2, 3. Just wondering where they were. All right. All right, they're gone. Okay, so once we get past the fireworks show, there is a chance the sky will continue to clear. If that's the case, we maybe ended up with a frosty scenario by Sunday morning and again Monday morning. Even a light freeze is possible with this round of cool weather. So hopefully you haven't planted anything, but just kind of a heads up, something we're going to be watching. All right, and then we'll try to rebound before another system moves in. But let me give you the details real quick on the air show itself and the fireworks. The rain chance, 30%. This is the temperature right now we're thinking for the majority of the air show, right around 56. Could be a little cooler, of course, right at the waterfront. That cool breeze at times may cool it down to like 54, but either way, just really dress for 40s, and then the 50s you'll feel very comfortable if you dress for 40s all day long. And everyone's going to be down there and packed in, so hopefully all the body heat will help too. Unless you're staying on the front of the line, right on the water there, you're right, front row show, then you're going to feel more of that chilly wind. Once we get into the fireworks at 9:30, I've knocked the drizzle chance down to 10%. It looks very patchy, but it will be chilly, but that's good. I think overall, this is not a bad setup. We've had worse years, and it could have been a Friday. If it was Friday's scenario that we would have here on Saturday, it would be a mess. We would have very heavy rainfall, some lightning and thunder. It would be much more difficult on Friday. So 24 hours makes a big difference. So I know this forecast has seemed kind of crummy all week. It still is not as bad as what Friday's outlook would have been if we had thunder on Friday. So that's good. I know some have been asking about the personalized, air show that we get, the practice on Friday. There will be some breaks. It's scheduled roughly around noon on Friday. It just depends on where the rain band is, how quickly it moves in on Friday. But there is still a chance to get maybe some of the F-35s flying over the city for lunch on Friday. That'd be a nice little treat. So listen for that. It's going to be very easy to hear them, but hopefully they'll get it in. All right. So once we get into the wind scenario for the smoke direction, it still looks to be west-northwest. So right now, Indiana looks to have the better seat, avoiding the smoke. Kentucky will take on majority of it the way it's looking for now. So if you are on the Indiana side, there you go. Marianne, just saw your question popped up. So there you go. Hope that answered it for you. So relatively light wind right now. The drone show, I'm telling you, the drone show is going to be different this year. It's going to feature other parts of Thunder we have been accustomed to. That are now going to be in a drone format that are going to just your mind when you're seeing it. All right. I've been seeing all the data and a lot of our meetings we've had, and it is going to be wild. Now, there is a wind threshold of about 25 miles per hour, so they don't bump into each other. Right now, everything looks just below that. It's going to be close, but it looks just below it. So I think it'll happen, but get ready for that. The kids are going to love it. All right, and the adults. Once this moves by, our next system rolls in. This is going to be a bit of a challenge for us on its path because it does look to be more of a southern wave, but there's a trend to try to get a little more north in latitude for next week. Either way, this one's going to be a relatively stretched out system to where we're going to have a prolonged period of chances of rain starting Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, maybe ending Friday. So next week does look wet, and it could be another 1 to 2 inches of rain out of that system as well. So if you're looking for excuses to get out of mowing the grass after the next couple of days here, it's going to be too messy to where you really won't have to worry about it for a while. But once this is all over, yeah, the grass is going to be really tall. Another system may roll in and do the same thing. Now we're getting toward the Pegasus Parade time period. The pattern likes to repeat itself, so we'll see if we keep seeing these lows that keep diving down across the country over and over and over. It's all about timing and spacing. I can't see all the data yet for Derby, but I promise you I will be watching it carefully. All right. Any questions? Everyone's quiet today. Everyone's like, yeah, we're not watching you. We're going to be outside today, sneezing our heads off. We're going to be outside today. All right. I'll just end it there. You guys, it's a good point. Get outside, enjoy, take your allergy meds, enjoy the 80s for the next couple of days because the weather is not going to be as pleasant looking at the next 10 that are certainly ahead of us. All right, you guys, stay safe, stay out of trouble, as I always like to say. And I will see you guys coming up on the flip side at midday today. All right, I'll see you then.